welcome to Two Buddies and a Lot of Conspiracies. And so, Eddie, I like that you got your binoculars out. I like that every time I get a sombrero on you, it has the American flag colors. It's one of my favorite things. But you'll see here in this image, obviously I have my mustache wax, so I was able to curl out the ends there. But we are hunting for, I guess, Nazis. Today's video is going to be on something that the both of us really don't have that much information on. So it's chapter 10 in the book, Mammoth Book of Cover-Ups. It's Martin Bormann. So, Eddie, I know I asked you previously before we got on this what information you have, and I think I was the one that told you he was a Nazi, right? Other than that, you got no info on the guy, right? No. So,
Nothing at all.
which doesn't surprise me because I feel like, I mean, it was the end of World War II, and supposedly Martin Bormann got out and made it. So the actual I've got three videos that we're gonna watch. One of them is just an intro, which is an hour and something long documentary that the guy put into chapters that you can watch on YouTube. And there's two like radio interviews with investigative journalists, which I know you and I like a lot. And then we're gonna be doing a lot of fucking reading. So there's a little bit of reading. So I'll try to bite the bullet and take the longer one so that Eddie doesn't have to read so much. Did you? You
Whoa,
didn't?
whoa, whoa, whoa. What are you trying to say? They can't read or something?
I mean, sometimes.
You get all the easy ones.
That's it. Hip Hop Anonymous. Um, But yeah, so in the book, it's literally 2 1/3 pages, which is great. And I'm looking through, and it's like the next chapter is about the British royal family, and it's like, come on, man, that's only 2.5 pages too. It's like they're 3.5 pages. Like, what are you doing? It's gonna take us forever to get through all this because there's so much information that he's leaving out. In all of these chapters that it is. We're going to be covering this book for the next 5 years. Um, but I'll read from the Mammoth Book of Cover-Ups. I'll read the first little paragraph here, and then the last little paragraph, and then his alert level. So old So Martin Bormann, old Nazis never die. They go to Antarctica, or in the case of Adolf Hitler, to the Nazi moon base, or more plausibly, in the case of Martin Bormann, they go to the Soviet Union. And then, yeah, because I'll leave out that whole thing. Or should I even read it? And then the last little sentence he's got is old Nazis do eventually die, but the conspiracy theories about them go on forever. Martin Bormann survived the Second World War, alert level 8. So even he somewhat believes that it happened. Um, there's which we'll go over it as we go through because I got the death info. So okay, so first off, intro to Martin Bormann again. That's going to be the little video from the guy, kind of gives you a little bit of information on him. Then death info from AI, because it's always good to get AI's input, because if AI says something, then it's like, okay, they can't even lie about it if AI's telling you. But it still tries. You'll see. Then the first radio interview, then did Nazis go to Argentina? Because I know for a fact that a lot of them did. And then Operation Paperclip, which I did ask a couple of questions that people should have probably asked a long time ago also, and we all should have an issue with Operation Paperclip. Do you know what Operation Paperclip is, Eddie? No?
No.
Okay.
No idea what that is.
So I think we've talked about it in other videos, but I will forgive you for that. Operation Paperclip is after World War II. We actually took a lot of the Nazis and put them into America. We set them up here as
Oh yeah. I remember now.
doctors.
I
Yeah,
remember now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then we'll do another radio interview, so that's another video to watch, and then we'll briefly touch on the spoils of war, which is why this man is so important, and you'll see why as we go through. And then we have the closing. So what kind of questions? You got questions, frustrations, anything you want to throw out there before we get into the beginning here?
Nope.
Yeah, okay.
Jump right into it.
Fuck it. Let's go. Head first.
Let's just go. Let's just go for it. Let's just go for
do it. So this here again is going to be the little clip from a little clip. All of these are at least like 10 plus minutes. So FYI, that's why I only have the 3, and that's why we're only doing the Martin Bormann, because it's going to be pretty long just on this topic. So this is from The Hunt for Martin Bormann. The guy did a pretty good job. He's not that, I'll say it's like you're listening to him like read from a book kind of thing without any emphasis. So he's not like I wouldn't want him to narrate my life or to sit there and tell me a story about stuff unless he, whatever. So he's interesting. At least he did a good job going through it. He's got a long hour and a half long documentary about just on Martin Bormann and potentially what happened and where he went to and how he got out. So, well, this is just going to be a little bit of intro, a little bit of info on him. So we are going to get started now unless Eddie says no.
Just kidding.
Okay, let's do it. Here we go.
Still a little joke there.
I didn't hear it. The gatekeeper.
So who was Martin Bormann? Born in 1900, he had served in the artillery at the tail end of World War I, leaving the army in 1919. An estate manager during the Weimar Republic period, he joined a paramilitary Freikorps unit of disgruntled right-wing soldiers. An accomplice to a political murder in 1924, Bormann served a year in prison. Released in 1925, he went on to join the Nazi Party 2 years later, becoming a regional press officer and later working in the S.A. Brownshirt's insurance office in Munich. He gained a reputation as a financial expert, becoming a powerful figure in the control of party finances. After Hitler came to power in 1933, Bormann was appointed Chief of Staff to Deputy Führer Rudolf Hess and given the rank of Reichsleiter, the highest political rank in the NSDAP. From 1934 onwards, Bormann was a member of Hitler's inner circle, accompanying the Führer everywhere, making himself indispensable. Bormann oversaw the renovations of Hitler's private home, the Berghof, and the process of buying up adjacent properties to create a private Nazi leader's gated community atop Obersalzberg. Bormann also had the Eagle's Nest built as a gift for Hitler's 1939 birthday. He became, in effect, Hitler's private secretary, also responsible for Hitler's private finances and collecting royalties from his book Mein Kampf, which ran into many millions of marks. Using his position as Chief of Staff to Hess to give him access to personnel files, Bormann was able to influence Hitler regarding important appointments. Hitler deliberately played the Nazi leaders off against each other to prevent a challenge to his authority, and Bormann was increasingly able to control who accessed the Führer, becoming Hitler's gatekeeper. The flight of Hess to Scotland in 1941 helped Bormann enormously. Hitler promoted him to become Minister without Portfolio in the government. Bormann also earned a nickname behind his back due to the colour of his Nazi Party uniform of the brown eminence. During the war, Hitler was busy at his headquarters dealing with military matters, and Bormann effectively ran the nation's civilian bureaucracy for him. In this, he was deeply involved in the extension of anti-Semitic measures to the conquered eastern territories, sharing this responsibility with Reichsführer SS Heinrich Himmler. He and Himmler were also responsible for the creation and raising of the Volkssturm, Germany's last-ditch militia of old men and young boys, to try and help the regular armed forces stop the Allied advances into Germany in 1944-45. So wherever Hitler was, so was Martin Bormann. As the war situation deteriorated, Bormann's power steadily increased, and his power within the inner circle of Hitler's loyalists became immense, until by early 1945 he was effectively, as I mentioned, the gatekeeper through which everyone had to pass to see the Führer. When Hitler transferred his military headquarters to Berlin from the Adlerhorst, his last Western Front headquarters, on the 16th of January 1945, Bormann and his staff moved with him aboard the Führersonderzug, Hitler's personal train. Hitler continued to sleep and eat in the Reich Chancellery until incessant Allied air raids forced him to begin sleeping in the Führer bunker beneath the Reich Chancellery garden in mid-February 1945. In mid-March, he gave up using his office in the new Reich Chancellery for military conferences and retreated to his bunker full-time. Bormann maintained his own party chancellery apparatus and office nearby, and as Hitler's gatekeeper, Bormann himself took over a small office in the lower bunker opposite Hitler's suite of rooms, while continuing to sleep in his own bunker accommodation close by. Albert Speer, Hitler's armaments minister, noted how much of a hold Bormann had over Hitler since 1942. Quote, "After any conference with Hitler, it sometimes happened that the adjutant would announce Bormann, who had come into the room carrying his files. He spoke monotonously and with seeming objectivity, and would then advance his own solutions. On the basis of one word, agreed, or on the basis of a vague comment from Hitler, Bormann would then draft lengthy instructions. In this way, some very important decisions were taken." End quote. Bormann was of course greatly feared because he could change whispers into death sentences by telling tales to Hitler. Hitler even signed blank sheets of paper onto which Bormann had typed orders and directives later on. The other Nazi leaders feared Bormann, even Himmler, head of the SS, and he handled Bormann with kid gloves and carefully maintained his own very close relationship with Hitler, who trusted him completely. Bormann was never removed from power because, though the other leaders feared and despised him, they also spent most of their time vying with each other for Hitler's favor, so precluding a united stand from developing against the sinister Bormann. Bormann spent the last weeks of the war keeping Hitler busy with paperwork and administration, in this way limiting his contacts with the outside players. In this, he was ably assisted by Labour Front leader Robert Ley and the one-eyed Dr. Hans Lammers, head of the Reich Chancellery.
He looks like
As
something
the Soviets surrounded Berlin and began to fight towards the city center, Bormann had prepared plans to save Hitler and himself. As I outlined in a previous video, Bormann had put in place an evacuation scheme codenamed Operation Seraglio to move Hitler and his seat of government from besieged Berlin by a fleet of transport aircraft to the Obersalzberg to continue the war from the Bavarian Alps. Hitler resisted deserting Berlin, but many personnel and records were flown south in a series of flights from the 20th of April 1945 onwards, Hitler's last birthday. 10 aircraft loads of people and papers got away successfully, while a last plane carrying Hitler's personal papers was shot down in eastern Germany on the 21st of April, Hitler being greatly upset by the loss of these records. The problem for Bormann was that his entire power rested on being beside Hitler. Without Hitler's protection, Bormann would have been rubbed out by Himmler or some other top leader.
Totally.
So, though records clearly indicate that a plane was kept standing by outside Berlin to fly into the city to bring out Hitler and his staff, the passenger manifest listing Bormann among those due to be on board, Hitler dithered for days about leaving Berlin, until by the time he announced that he would die in the capital, most of the airfields had been captured by the Soviets, and the only way out by air would have been a very risky flight from a light aircraft from the temporary airstrip created on the east-west axis in the Tiergarten Park. Bormann couldn't desert Hitler while there was still a possibility that the Führer would decide to leave Berlin, so he stuck at his post and through his intrigues managed to orchestrate the dismissals of Hermann Göring and Heinrich Himmler. Goering, who had fled Berlin for Bavaria on the 20th of April 1945, unwisely attempted to succeed a still living Hitler on the 23rd of April, when news arrived that Hitler had suffered a nervous collapse following a very stressful military conference the day before, during which he had announced that the war was lost and he would die in Berlin. Bormann managed to spin Goering's moves into treason, and Hitler ordered the Reichsmarshal arrested and stripped of all his officers of state. On the 28th of April, Bormann received reports that Himmler had been secretly negotiating with the Western Allies to surrender Germany. Hitler went berserk and ordered Himmler's arrest, and Bormann gleefully transmitted orders to Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz, military commander in northern Germany, for Himmler's arrest. In the event, Dönitz ignored Bormann's orders, and Himmler would hang around Dönitz's headquarters for several days before the events that led to his mysterious demise at the hands of the British in late May 1945 began. But though Bormann took evident pleasure in eradicating his greatest competitors in Hitler's inner circle, plenty of evidence shows that in private Bormann was drinking heavily and was increasingly stressed and worried by how close the Red Army was getting to the bunker.
I would be too.
He also championed several pointless military operations designed to relieve Berlin by weak German forces that all came to nothing. On the evening of the 28th of April 1945, the day that Himmler was ousted, Bormann sent a message to Grand Admiral Dönitz that stated, quote, "Reich Chancellery a heap of rubble," end quote. The end was now very near. That same evening it was reported to Hitler that General Walter Wenck's 12th Army had failed to penetrate the Soviet ring around Berlin and relieve the beleaguered Führer and his circle. The inevitable end of the defense of the government quarter now depended on how much ammunition and willpower remained among the mostly SS troops still holding out fiercely. The last air escape from Berlin also took place that night, when test pilot Hanna Reitsch flew the new commanding officer of the Luftwaffe, Field Marshal Robert Ritter von Greim, out of the Tiergarten emergency airstrip in an Arado 96 training aircraft. No evidence has ever emerged since 1945 that any other German aircraft left the city centre after the 28th of April. This discredits wild conspiracies claiming that Hitler and perhaps Bormann escaped by light plane at the last moment.
I still think they got out.
The only way out of the capital now was on foot, by attempting to infiltrate through the Soviet lines. Not a very enticing prospect for middle-aged, out-of-shape leaders like Martin Bormann to contemplate. The remaining 2 days of Hitler's life are well known from the testimony of bunker survivors.
Well, from what we were
In the
told.
very early hours of the 29th of April, he married his girlfriend Eva Braun in a simple ceremony in the Führer bunker. The two witnesses were Dr. Goebbels and Bormann. Hitler then dictated his political and private wills to his secretary Traudl Junge. These documents were witnessed by Goebbels, Bormann, and the two army generals, Wilhelm Burgdorf and Hans Krebs. Hitler retired to bed at 4 a.m. On the morning of the 30th of April, Hitler was informed that the units holding the government quarter would be out of ammunition in 2 days. But in the afternoon, the government quarter commanding officer, SS Brigadeführer Wilhelm Mohnke, reviewed this estimate, Hitler being told that resistance would fold by that night. General Weidling, Berlin battle commandant, asked Hitler for permission for the remaining defense forces to break out to save themselves. At 1 p.m., Hitler gave his permission. It was clear that Hitler would shortly commit suicide. Bormann remained loyally at his master's side, but then again he had no means of escape. But we can be sure that a man like Bormann would not have intended to kill himself. He was a natural survivor, a cunning and careful man who would use what remained of his authority and power to somehow survive. So what evidence is there that Bormann intended to survive Hitler's demise? Well, on the 5th of April 1945, he had written to his wife, confirming that a senior Nazi official was arranging for her safe passage, along with his 10 children, to a place of refuge in Bavaria.
Damn.
On the 24th of April,
Right?
Bormann sent an
That's
order
why
from
you
the Führer bunker
fucking shit.
finalizing
Give it to her,
preparations
man.
for 2 huts on the eastern side of the Hohe Gold Mountain near
Clearly they didn't
Berchtesgaden
have
to be
TV
stocked
or
with provisions
something.
to receive a
No.
group of people on the run. On the
His
29th of April,
books and
Bormann
sex.
telephoned
That
his
was it.
wife, confirming the arrangements he had made and that he would be in contact
Classical
with her as
music.
soon as possible. These are not the actions of a man about to kill himself.
No, they're
Anyway,
not.
at about 3:30 p.m. on the afternoon of the 30th of April, Hitler and his wife committed suicide in Hitler's sitting room. Much
Supposedly.
debate and intrigue surrounds
Or
the
they killed
details
a
of
couple of
Hitler's
people.
death, which will be dealt with in a later series of videos. Suffice it to say, a dead Hitler and Eva were carried from the lower bunker study up the emergency exit staircase to the Reich Chancellery garden, placed in a shell hole, doused in petrol, and set alight. One thing further demonstrated that Hitler was definitely dead before the breakout attempts of the night of the 1st of May, 1945. The escape groups that were organized were all too small to have successfully protected and escorted Hitler, a man who was having difficulty walking or standing
See,
for long
this is
periods
interesting.
of
I've
time
completely
and was
forgot
suffering
about
from
this.
an undiagnosed shaking syndrome
Look at
as
his
well as
hand.
several other medical maladies. Hitler could never have walked out of Berlin unassisted. The
Wonder if he had
approximately
Parkinson's.
780 SS
That was what I was
troops and
going to ask. You
bodyguards
think
that
he had
guarded the
Parkinson
Reich
or something
Chancellery
like that?
in those
Yeah,
final
I
hours
would think
were too
so.
few to
Parkinson's
be able
or
to
maybe
fight their way
MS.
through the Soviet rings en masse. They would instead attempt to break out in small groups, less likely to attract too much attention. It is also a fact that Brigadier Führer Monke, who commanded the bunker breakout operation, had little idea of the current dispositions of Red Army units around the government quarter, as communications broke down with German defenders as they were killed or overrun.
So, do you see what I was telling you about as far as I don't want this guy to narrate my life?
Yeah.
He's giving info though. And the issue is this type of thing, honestly thinking about it, what was it, 1945? So 1945, and we're in 2025 now, so that's what, 80 years? So part of the the biggest part of the issue of trying to go back in time is one, the winners write the history, right? Like, let's be serious for a second. The winners of any war write the history. The losers don't write the fucking history of what happened. So we have no idea, honestly, what happened in that bunker. We have no idea. Did he say that they torched him too in the end to make sure that everybody knew that he was dead? I think so,
I think
right?
so.
Okay. I've seen so many of these things now. It's like I'm forgetting what merges left and right. But it's like even for like Hitler's body, it's like, oh, okay, look, they didn't have body doubles. They have body doubles today still. Like they had body doubles for all types of people. So what do you think so far on this one? And oh, I know I forgot to ask your threat level. I know you were at a 6.3 before, and I'm assuming that you probably won't jump that much because after we go through all this, you can be like, well, yeah. So, but what do you think? This
I
game.
already knew all this.
Yeah, right. Well, you didn't maybe know all of it, but at least you had an idea of it.
Yeah.
What? Because yeah, why would they put Call of Duty, Nazi zombies? Why if they're not real? But what? That gave you a little bit of info on like this gentleman you never heard of before, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So a little bit of background, a little bit into the war, a little bit of that, a little bit about Hitler. So let's go into, and I will have Eddie read the left one, and then I'll read the right one. I'll fall on the sword for you, buddy. But so just to kind of give a little bit of information here, and I'll even read it. So I'll start the reading, I guess. But the one
But you're gonna be the left and me the right, or
you're going to be the left, I'm going to be the right,
Okay.
but I'm going to read from our fella Johnny Lewis real quick because his last longer paragraph before he says old Nazis do eventually die. This is what brought me to the question on the right. Ready? So Almost inevitably, the forensic identification of Bormann's corpse has not killed off the conspiracy theories. In Doppelgangers, Hugh Thomas suggested there were forensic indicators that Bormann died later than 1945. notably that the condition of the teeth were those of a man older than 45, Bormann's age in 1945, and that there appeared to be dental work in excess of 1945 record. Moreover, the skull contained traces of a volcanic red clay not found in Berlin, but common in Paraguay, where there had been several Bormann sightings. Since DNA testing proved the skull to be Bormann's, the necessary inference was that Bormann did survive the war and was buried in Berlin by accomplices to give credence to the story that he fell in 1945. So what he's saying there is that they dug him out from fucking Paraguay, shipped him all the way to Berlin, and planted him in the ground so that way you can be like, oh yeah, see, he died there. And all of this, so building up here, all of this is going to become relatively, or it's going to be very relevant when you hear the last person talk in this in the investigative journalist. So go ahead now and read this, the Google AI on the left, which is Martin Bormann lived past WW2. So go ahead, Eddie.
No. Martin Bormann died in an attempt to escape Berlin at the end of World War II. He was believed to be large for many years. His death was officially confirmed in 1973 after
Bullshit.
skeletal remains found in 1972 were definitely identified as his definitively identified as his through DNA analysis, which matched him to a living material relative. Reported death. Bormann was last seen on May 2nd, 1945, trying to escape Berlin by tank.
Bullshit.
He was in you just threw me off at the Nuremberg trials and sentenced to death.
Yep.
Fugitive status. Because his body could not be found at the time,
Confirmed.
Rumors persisted for decades that he had escaped, with some even claiming he was alive in South America.
I believe it.
You know, that was what I was going to tell you. You know what they say a lot? Well, this is what I've heard a lot, that a lot of Nazis were like in Argentina.
Argentina! Yeah, that's where we're going to get to. Absolutely.
I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah. No, you'll see. I actually asked Google AI, and Google AI even said, yeah, they did.
DNA confirmation. Skeletal remains were discovered during construction work in Germany in 1972 by 1973. Their identity was definitely confirmed as Martin Bormann through
mitochondrial
DNA analysis, which was compared to a living maternal relative. Hip-hop official declaration. West German authorities officially declared him dead in 1973 after his positive identification was made.
Right. So it's all bullshit. And so this is where I have the question in the next one. Did Martin Bormann's remains have clay from Paraguay? Right? And so it's rumors from conspiracy theorists have claimed that Martin Bormann's skull was coated in a type of red clay found in Paraguay. The theory suggests he escaped to South America, died there, and his remains were secretly moved back to Berlin. However, this claim has been debunked by forensic and DNA evidence. The clay theory relies on the following claims. The 1972 discovery, when Bormann's remains were found in Berlin in 1972, a reddish-brown clay was reportedly found on his skull, distinct from the sandy soil of Berlin. A matching grave in Paraguay. Theorists alleged that this clay matched soil from the, I think it says ITA, I don't know what that means, region of, or Ita, I guess it's the region of Paraguay, where Bormann was rumored to have died, and that a grave believed to be his there was later found to be empty. Okay, so Google AI say, yeah, you fuck. The definitive evidence against the Paraguay clay theory, the speculation was conclusively dismissed by forensic analysis and a 1998 DNA test. The DNA test analysis in 1998, the German authorities ordered new genetic testing to settle the rumors. Scientists compared DNA from the skull fragments to a blood sample from bone, one of the Bormann's relatives. The DNA was a definitive match, confirming the identity of the remains. Red clay source. The reddish residue on the bones was not from South America's soil, silly, but likely originated from destroyed red brick masonry in the rubble-filled area near the Lehrter train station in Berlin, where the remains were discovered. See, you're just so foolish. Why would you think it's from another country? It had to have been because he was next to a church that had been destroyed, or a train station, whatever. Bormann's confirmed fate based on the DNA evidence and eyewitness testimony. Authorities affirmed that Bormann died in Berlin on May 2nd, 1945. Don't ask any questions. Don't look over there. Likely from cyanide poisoning while trying to escape the Red Army. Unfucking real. I think there's one more. Yeah, there's one more. So, I mean, honestly, the joke of the whole thing is, where the fuck, red clay? Like, you couldn't have cleaned up the bones before you shipped them? Like,
Of course not.
if you're
Why
trying
would
to
they
make
do
this
that?
smart, guys, like, come on. And then I forget what this question is, but I'll read this out. Martin Bormann was found by yeah. This I had the question like, how the fuck did they find this clown then, right? Because like they found him in '72, and I'm like, how did they actually find him? Unless this is just like covered up. Tell them they found him over here. Martin Bormann was found by construction workers in Berlin in 1972 who uncovered a skeleton near the Lehrter train station while digging a trench. Shocker. The remains were identified as Bormann's through a combination of forensic methods, including comparison of dental records, analysis of the skull and bones, like you can't make shit, a skull reconstruction, and later mitochondrial DNA analysis because we're so fancy. 1972 discovery. Construction workers digging a cable trench accidentally unearthed two skeletons near the Lehrter train station. One was later identified as Bormann and the other as his subordinate, Ludwig Stumpfegger. Dental and forensic analysis. Experts from the National Institutes of Health and other institutes performed extensive examinations on the skeletons that were probably paid to do so and come out with a certain ending. Dental records from Bormann's dentist, like we haven't seen that in fucking movies where they just put someone else's teeth work in somebody else. Shit, they did that in that whatever, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to fuck the movie up. Hugo Blaschke were a key piece of evidence. A skull reconstruction was performed and compared to photographs. Oh, yeah. Photographs of Bormann, that's real. And mended collarbone break on the skeleton matched a known injury of Bormann's. Mitochondrial DNA testing. In a later study, mitochondrial DNA from the skeleton remains was compared to that of a living maternal relative, confirming the identification, which I still find that's bullshit too. But cause of death, experts concluded Bormann likely died in 1945. In your face, Eddie. Don't question it. Possibly by biting a cyanide capsule. See? That's what made the clay red, okay? That's what gave him the red clay. Official declaration. West German authorities officially declared him dead in 1973. Booyah! Fuckers. So, the joke of this whole thing is like, alright, so 1945, right? Let's go back to the end of the war, where they claim that he died, right? In May 1945. You think when they were digging, seeing all the bodies, if this guy really died right next to the fucking train station, they wouldn't have seen him on the top of the soil, right?
That's what they tell you, my man. You should not be questioning.
You know what I mean?
You should not
Don't
question
question
these
it.
things.
Don't question these
Don't
things.
question. Why would you question it?
We're telling you the story. Just listen to us. That's the joke of the whole thing. So how the fuck did they find him in 1972 when he died in 1945, and they stopped bombarding because they had already won the war, right?
They probably wanted to do like a funeral down there. We never know, you know. They kept everything for 30 years.
Well, they needed to wait. They needed to wait because, well, you'll see why as we continue. But so far, this story sounds kind of like kind of bullshit, right?
Oh, plenty of bullshit.
Okay, good. Yeah, because like honestly, when I was reading this, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Even Google AI is kind of like not helping your story here. Like it ain't working in your favor, guys. You need to work on a better story for Google AI. But yeah, anything before we go into the next thing? I think the next thing's gonna be video. Okay.
No, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, next one is video. Okay, good. So this is gonna be the interview, one of the first like radio interviews that I had heard. I think it says 15 minutes. So this is another long boy. But this one here is pretty good. This is going to give you kind of like a snapshot of more interesting things. More interesting things. That's it. That's all I'm offering today is interesting things for you guys to look at because I want people, especially if you're interested in the topic, please go look. Go look for shit. BitChute is a great place to look. Rumble's okay, but when you search for shit on Rumble, people just have stupid like YouTube clickbait bullshit titles. So BitChute's got a lot of that too, but a lot of the BitChute stuff is like stuff that you can't even put on Rumble or on YouTube because it'll get pulled immediately. But yeah, so we're gonna start this one. Any other questions before you look at these two fine gentlemen, which is Hitler and Bormann?
I don't know. Well, we're ready to see the video. What else?
Yeah, you're gonna like these guys. You're gonna like this one, and you're gonna like the next one. In your face.
I'm not gonna like these guys.
I'm not talking about these two gentlemen. I know you're not a Nazi sympathizer, Eddie, but you're gonna like the guys talking about it, okay? And I think it's the same radio broadcast, so FYI. But all right, so you ready?
Go for it.
There was also a World in Action program all about Mengele. There was a lot of interest, wasn't there, in getting some of these escaped war criminals to justice.
Well, if you remember the Frederick Forsyth book and film, The Odessa File, that kind of dramatised this sort of thing. But of course what ultimately happened, as you know, that after Eichmann was taken from Argentina, the Jewish community in Argentina went back to the Israelis and said, don't do that again because we're doing quite good business with these ex-Nazis and we don't want you rocking the boat.
So you're saying the Israeli state was responsible for closing down the investigation into
when
Nazi war
Eichmann was extracted from Argentina, the Bormann organisation based in Latin America.
Off to Argentina.
Basically, Bormann was a gangster. He has got nothing against Jewish people as such. He's quite prepared to work. And of course, the right wing in Israel, the Jabotinskyites, modelled their movement on Mussolini. And
very interesting. You should look up that
the
too.
Italians and the Germans about, do you want us to fight the British for you? Will you give us, if we fight the British for you, will you give us Palestine? And so all of that stuff, the right wing in Israel are basically crypto-fascist. There's no doubt about it.
Funny, but true.
So in 1972, working closely with Hungarian journalist Ladislas Farrago, that was on Saturday, the 25th of November 1972, the Daily Express had an exclusive front page, Martin Bormann alive, and an article inside saying, "You are Bormann," with a picture of the Bormann that they had found over there. The Vatican, apparently, and President Juan Perón were said to have been complicit in his escape and protected him.
It wasn't just the Vatican and Juan Perón. It was obviously MI6 as well, because of the book Op JB.
Operation James Bond.
Ainsworth Davis, who was the actual...
Well, the actual author on the book is Christopher Crichton, but he had to use that. He felt he had to use it because so he didn't get sued under the Official Secrets Act. His real name was John, John Ainsworth Davis.
At the end of the World War II, the Nazi intelligence structure was basically absorbed lock, stock and barrel into NATO as NATO was being formed. So Reinhard Gehlen, who used to head the Gestapo, ends up heading the BND, the West German Intelligence Services. Klaus Barbie, the butcher of Lyon, ends up working for the Bolivian army, training them in torture techniques as an employee of the CIA.
Terrible guy.
At the same time, and ended up killing Che Guevara.
I think Brazil also had its fair share of Nazi war criminals.
Well, indeed, that's right. So they were generally...
They talk so lax about it.
And that's, by the way, I don't know if you've seen this, but that's where Ghislaine Maxwell is supposed to now be. Yeah. She's managed to get over there. We have heard nothing very much about this international child sex trafficker.
Another person
London
people should look
debutante,
into.
But no, child sex trafficker who knows everything about everything to do with all these children who've been trafficked over the years. No arrest, hardly any news story, but apparently she's hiding in Brazil.
Well, she'll be hiding with Bolsonaro, won't she? Incidentally, Bolsonaro and various other people are all going to Saudi Arabia for a great big shindig this week, like a sort of Davos in the desert.
It's another thing people should look into. What the fuck?
The Pompeo, all these people are all going to...
He's like, oh shit, we need to keep going.
Of Bristol's very own Stuart Stephen, he was the author and the journalist behind these, the Daily Express headline, a Daily Express exclusive, Martin Bormann is alive. That was on the Saturday the 25th of November in 1972. On Monday the 27th of November, just 2 days afterwards, here he is speaking to a journalist, and this was up on the archives of the Associated
This is
Press.
from the 70s, Eddie.
The difference between this story and every other
You can tell because how
Martin
he
Bormann
talks.
story since the war is that we have got total documentary evidence for every word that we say. We have managed to infiltrate the secret services of several Latin American countries. We got those documents out of Latin America. We have them in our possession. Every word which we write, we will be able to produce a bit of paper to say that this is not what we are saying. This is not our version of events. This is the version of events as recorded by people whose professional concern it has been since the end of the war to track and record the movements of Martin Bormann.
Documents which relate to, what do they relate to? Just a name that he's living under at the moment, or what?
They relate to several names which he's living under at the moment. They relate to a situation whereby he went to a Pacific country in Latin America after the war. They relate to the negotiations leading up to that invitation to go to that country. And they relate to the basic fact that intelligence services have been monitoring his movements ever since. There is virtually nothing which this man has done which is not known.
No.
Now, there is no mystery
They know what's
about
going
Martin
on.
Bormann. There's no mystery as far as the Latin American countries are concerned about Martin Bormann. They knew.
Victor Rothschild.
There was any mystery as far as the rest of us was concerned. Now, once one had managed to open those safes, get those documents out, get them out of the country, then there's no mystery for the rest of us. And this is what we have managed to achieve.
So that's the Bristol-based, originally journalist, Stuart Stephen there, speaking on the 27th of November 1972. Martin, just to put this in context, Eichmann had been taken out from South America in 1961. There was still, although the official line was, okay, Eichmann is going to be the last, there was still quite a lot of people, particularly Jewish people, who wanted to get some more of these Nazi war criminals, particularly ones who were above Eichmann's head.
Yes, but I mean, if you read Paul Manning's book, Martin Bormann, Nazi in Exile, it became clear that the Bormann organisation was very keen to put Jewish business people into their structures.
They do that stuff
because
today.
it was a way of kind of covering their own tracks.
Kind of camouflage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. And of course, it was very profitable for those who cooperated.
Anyway,
with them.
things moved very quickly after that. Friday, 1st of December 1972, the Daily Express announced that they had been hoaxed. Quite how they figured that out, who knows. 1974, though, a couple of years later,
I think
Ladislas
UPS.
Farago, he'd been working with Hungarian, published a book called Aftermath, Martin Bormann and the Fourth Reich. And, of course, these pictures of Bormann were posted, and I put a photo up on our show page at thisweek.org.uk last night, both of Bormann and of the picture taken 30 years after the end of the war. See if you can... I mean, certainly to me, it's the most incredible likeness that I've ever seen. I mean, there's various doppelgangers around. Anyway, Stuart Stephen then went on between 1982 and 1992 to become the editor of the Mail on Sunday. In 1998, on the publication of the Bormann DNA report, which supposedly showed that the skull found in Berlin was Bormann, and there was an attempt to sort of put this to bed for once and for all. I mean, just one thing, Martin. It's almost impossible to do a DNA test to that sort of age, surely.
Well, I don't really know. I'm not an expert, but I think you can get DNA from teeth, even from from skeletons from thousands of years ago. So,
but also, these DNA reports aren't necessarily worth the paper they're written on. It depends who you're paying to do them.
Well, there is definitely... I mean, Paul Manning, who wrote the book I just mentioned, was the senior US correspondent in Britain during the war. You know, the top guy. And he was absolutely...
The idea that he died in Berlin is pretty much out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got evidence from other people saying, well, he didn't die in Berlin because we extracted him. That's it, all in the book Op JB, as you know. And of course,
the thing is, ever since that book was published, Op JB, there's been a propensity in these books talking about Hitler surviving the war and going to...
Well, that's what they're doing there, is they're creating a smokescreen. Ultimately, what's underlying all of this is that senior Nazis did a deal with the Western powers at the end of World War II, and they were protected, and they were used in the setting up of NATO as an anti-communist organisation, and the Gladio structures, which eventually ended up carrying out terrorist attacks across Western Europe. That was all staffed by ex-fascist intelligence personnel. And that is the history of NATO.
It's funny, sure is.
I don't see how anybody can dispute it, because, as I say, the former head of the Gestapo ends up heading the BND, the West German Intelligence Services. You can imagine what the KGB made of that.
It's fascinating to see that it was a son of Jewish emigres. Well, he actually did come across as a refugee in 1941. That actually got the ball rolling on this story. Quite fascinating that he was from Bristol too, and Stuart Stephen died in January 2004. Now, there were also various stings on him towards the end of his career, Martin, some very serious ones where, for example, he published an article which was said to be, he believed, had been sent to him as if it was from Brian Gould, and it turned out it was from Michael Howard's son, a Tory, instead. But, you know, why would someone take the trouble to hoax him like that? If it wasn't an attempt to discredit him as an individual. It's a bit what we were hearing from Stephen Sizer earlier. The information can't be discredited, but you can try and shoot the messenger.
Yeah, well, you can imagine if he's been poking around in things that the deep state doesn't want you to know about, then they've got all sorts of different ways of making your life a misery.
Yeah, they do.
Like what?
Well, like, for example, ruining your career by giving you fake information which you think is real, you publish it, and then you're discredited, which is what, of course, you've got to be careful about that, but it's very, they could do things like threaten your children. They could kill you, like Michael Hastings looks as if he was assassinated by the CIA by hacking his car. So they don't do things like that. So
hacking his car, Eddie, don't have fancy electrics.
What about Robert Kennedy? What about Martin Luther King? All pretty clearly, they've had a court case in the US where a civil court has definitely concluded that the state murdered Martin Luther King.
Shocker.
And it wasn't carried out by James Earl Ray, who's still in prison, and the family have talked to him and said, we don't think he's the killer.
So, I mean, we're talking about Martin Bormann today, but the thing that's really, I suppose, the reason for that is that it does look as if there were some people at the very apex of the British state, including Desmond Morton, Winston Churchill, who possibly even earlier back into the war, we certainly know from August 1944, were collaborating with these top Nazis and offering them protection after the war.
Well, that's right.
People who were the senior war criminals.
Well, it's also well known that the Japanese Kemputai, their version of the Gestapo, they were let off largely because they'd been carrying out all these kind of tests with chemical and biological warfare on Allied prisoners, filming them as they died when they'd injected them with this stuff. And they said, do you want all the information we've got on this? Said, yes. And they said, we'll give it to you, but you've got to let us go. And of course they were given a pat on the head, and the Western powers just took all the information
there's
got
also
from
the fact
torturing their own prisoners to death.
There's also the fact that we could be looking at some kind of totalitarian state in the future, and so it makes sense to examine. In a way, the Nazis were a blueprint for any kind of totalitarian.
Yes, that's right. And of course, this is why the Gladio structures, the bombings of Bologna railway station, all the rest of it. This is fascist psychological warfare technique, but modernised and spruced up so that it looks more liberal, but in actual fact, underlying all of this is a virulent anti-communist ideology.
I would draw a parallel in a way between the way Stuart Stephen was treated, although he then went on to become a national newspaper editor, but there was definitely some serious bullying of him during his career for what he found out.
Well, that's
compared to Julian Assange.
It's getting worse. Basically, if you wander off the park that the deep state accepts as legitimate kind of criticism, then you're going to run up against this kind of stuff, and that's because they are as they are. They are basically criminal networks.
Okay, good. So I don't need a picture. Fucking like that shit is like. And I'm not going to say blows your mind because you've heard all this kind of shit in like movies and TV shows and all that. But like, what the fuck? It's real. Like, oh my God.
It's like, I remember hearing a bunch of, what was it? I can't remember if it was like podcasts and stuff like that or like back in the day, of like the people saying that they saw Hitler in Argentina and like
definitely.
It was
widely known.
Like, yes.
You'll see coming up next because we're going to read even AI confirms it that they went there. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you noticed this, but I don't know if you've like been around a lot of Argentinian people, but if you look at them.
Oh, they have blonde hair, blue eyes.
Exactly.
They're Germans all day.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They have a lot of those features because a bunch of German people went to South America after the whole World War II.
So as an FYI, you're going to love the next one you listen to. The next video we have, you're going to love the lady. She's great. She really is great. Puts it together like, oh my God, real fast. So I do have a side note because we did the 666 thing. Do you think that book that said 666 actually has the mark of the beast in the barcode?
Nope.
No? You don't think so?
I don't think so. I hope not.
I'm sure it does. I'm almost positive it does, man, because I still haven't found anything that I own that does not have that fucking 2 bars together, 2 bars in the middle, and 2 bars on the end. Like, the fucking bullshit mark of the beast. I don't know. We're there, man. We're there. It still annoys me, but we're there. We're in this weird fucking world. But yeah, so that right there, I feel like you like these guys talking about it. They kind of like nonchalantly just like, of course, this is what happened. Of course, this is it. Of course, this is it. So, and honestly, looking, which you probably can't see it too well. I'll try to maybe make it a little bit bigger, but those guys' ears look similar. His nose obviously looks a little bit bigger, and his head's a little bit angled more. But that probably is fucking Martin Bormann. In 1972, before he died in Paraguay, and then they shipped him. They shipped him all the way to fucking Berlin so that they can come up with this story of them digging a trench and finding 2 dead bodies. You fucks, fucking liars. But yeah, you'll find out soon. Actually, when we do the next video, you'll be like, oh, that's why. I almost guarantee it. You're going to go from a 6.3 to a 6.5 or a 6.8. So just FYI. But yeah, any other questions before we go into the next thing we're going to have to read? No. Okay. We're going to have to read. Are you ready to read?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll read this first page.
Yeah, I'll read it.
Okay.
I saw the title. Listen. I'm ready for the hip hop. Hippopotamus. Is this because like the screen? I told you that I changed my setup. and like my eyes, like
You
when
don't
I
have
go
to
from
lie because you don't know how to
no,
read
I'm
big
being
words.
serious. No.
It's
It
Big
like literally,
Daddy. Don't
it bothers,
worry.
it bothers my eyes a little bit.
Well, it sounds like you fucked up, and it's not our problem, and it's not the
Yeah,
people's
yeah.
problem.
I think it's a quality. I think it's a quality of this monitor. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's actually probably partly the quality of the stupid video that you're watching through Discord, because I
Probably.
refuse to pay for fucking 60 frames per second, okay? So fuck
Okay.
them. Fuck you, Nitro. It should be a goddamn free
Oh,
service.
I know. I love that they offer you themes for
Yeah,
Discord
fuck
and that.
that. Are you kidding me? I gotta spend what, $20 a month just so I can put a fucking
Oh.
background picture? Are you out of your mind? No one's on my fucking Discord. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
It's such a great tool, but when I
Oh,
like started researching into that shit, I was like, "What the fuck are we like? Is
it
there
ain't
something that they don't want to charge for? What the
right.
fuck?"
It ain't fucking worth it, is what it comes down to when you actually see the
It's like
perks you're getting.
you know what it reminded me of?
Yeah.
Like like when you used to compress files, and there's this
WinRAR that charge you money,
yeah, yeah, and nobody fucking
and 7-Zip gives it for free. It's like, okay. You know, it's
oh,
funny too because I had Win. You know, I think I'm actually getting fucking charged every year,
oh,
one
don't tell
ninety
me you
nine or
paid for it.
something.
Oh my god.
I think I am getting
No,
charged for WinRAR. You
I've
fucks. I'm
never
gonna have to go
seen
cancel
nobody
that.
that paid for that. You're the first person I've
Well, the
checked with it.
WinRAR, I will say, I like the way WinRAR looks when I right click to extract. That's like the only thing versus like 7-Zip. But do they do the same thing? They sure do. Is one free completely? Yeah. And it's funny too, actually. You know what? I don't think I'm paying for it anymore because on my upstairs computer I get the message almost weekly that says sale. Come buy our thing again. So I don't think I'm paying for it anymore. But I did once. Which allows them to intervene on what I'm looking at or what I'm doing on my computer because it pops up stupid WinRAR. But yeah, go ahead whenever you're ready. Read the. Oh, I'll read the top and then you can read the rest. It's just, did the Nazis evacuate to Argentina?
Yes, a number of Nazis and collaborators escaped to Argentina after World War II using escape routes known as red lines. It is estimated that up to 5,000
That's a
Nazis
lot.
settled in
Yeah.
Argentina. And then, especially if they're like fucking like rabbits, like this guy that had 10 kids.
Oh my God. Yeah.
With some being
50,000.
just like that.
Yeah.
With some being helped by the Argentinian government under President Juan Perón.
Pajron.
They were able to flee due to the assistance of sympathizers and through escape routes, and often went through Spain or Italy before crossing the Atlantic.
It's funny.
Hold on, sympathizers like in Argentinian sympathizers with the Nazi movement?
So, Italy was bad, as you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Italy and I think Spain was too, probably. But sympathizers, here's the thing that's funny. You want to know the funny thing that's funny? Fucking Prescott Bush worked for a bank that actually funded the Nazis, and he got arrested, but then didn't even do anything. They didn't like charge him. But there were American corporations working with the Nazis. There were all these corporations working with the Nazis because it's a business, right? And so we're supposed to go, oh, okay. So because they were making money off of it, we're supposed to just let them have you go ahead, do whatever the fuck you want. The issue is, no, like you're supposed to not be for that. You're supposed to be against it, right? Especially if you're like, an American corporation. You're not supposed to be making money off of this war criminals. But I guess happens all the time. And we saw that in that bank thing we did too, right? That's the same thing. It's just money talks and losers walk, I guess. But like, oh my God. So yeah, so there's sympathizers all over. There were Nazi sympathizers in the United States. There were Nazi sympathizers in Latin America. There were Nazi sympathizers in Europe. There were Nazi sympathizers even in fucking United Kingdom. So it's like all over the place. Like, look at the royals, but because they're all German. But they all had, maybe that's maybe our next topic. But they all had sympathizers within their own ranks. So yeah. So when you hear the word sympathizers, just know that it was widely sympathized by a lot of people. A lot of people said, "No, no worries. We'll take care of you. It's fine. We hate the Jews, I guess." I guess that's it.
That caught me off guard. Okay, escape routes. They were established red lines or escape routes that went from Germany to Spain and then to Argentina, and a second route from Germany to Rome and Genoa. Before sailing to South America, Argentine government support. That's crazy.
Isn't it funny?
That's so fucking crazy.
Yeah,
The
just wait. You'll hear why.
government under Juan Perón
Juan.
is documented to have helped many Nazis settle in the country, providing travel documents and assistance.
Bammo.
Okay. Sympathizer support. Nazi sympathizers in Europe.
Yep.
And even within some organizations like the Vatican.
Blammo.
Wow. Played a role in facilitating
Terrible.
these
The Vatican
escapes.
needs to be overrun by us.
Oh my.
This is fucking Google AI telling you this. You know what I mean? That's why it's the joke. The joke of the whole thing is this is literally from fucking Google AI that says that the fucks in the Vatican were okay with them genociding the Jews. You know what I mean? If that's the story, but you know what I mean?
Lord.
That's the story they're supposedly telling.
That's insane. Notable individuals, high-profile Nazis who escaped to Argentina include Adolf Eichmann, an architect of the Holocaust, and Joseph
Mengele.
That's
Joseph Mengele. That's the fucking Dr. Mengele. That's the bad guy. The really bad guy. Yeah.
That's like the guy that like did all the fucking crazy experiments.
That's the guy that anytime you watch a horror movie or
they based them on. Yeah, I got you.
That's him. That's the guy, Joseph Mengele. He's the bad guy of the century.
An SS doctor from
Auschwitz.
Yeah,
which is terrible place. But yeah, I mean, so just reading, did they go to Argentina? Like, yeah, they did. They took care of them. Fucking, it's just insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. So this next thing here is, I'll read the left, you read the right, or I'll read all of it. I can, whatever. You can do the right. Okay, I'll do the left. All right, So as we saw that the Argentine government decided, hey, come on by, right? So this is my next question was because I wanted to find out, how much is Google AI saying as far as like how much the U.S. was involved, right? Because that's the Argentine government. The U.S., which the Argentina, we don't know. I don't believe that the Argentina sent troops to fight in Europe. I don't believe that they did. So they probably don't have a dog in this fight, so they probably didn't care, right? So fine. The United States, on the other hand, had a fucking problem. But what was Operation Paperclip? And I know I've put up graphics before about Operation Paperclip and you had to read it yourself, but now I'm going to read it for you. So, what was Operation Paperclip? Operation Paperclip was a secret U.S. program that brought over 1,600, so 5,000 at least went to Argentina. 1,600, supposedly, probably more, went German scientists, engineers, and technicians to the United States after World War II to work for the U.S. government in fields like rocketry and aerospace and medicine. The program's, which I still don't think went to space, the program's goal was to prevent these scientists from falling into Soviet hands and to advance American technology technological and military capabilities during the Cold War, because we were fighting our new enemy. While many contributed to projects like the U.S. space program, the program is controversial because some recruits had ties to the Nazi Party or their war crimes. Okay, so I'm just going to stop right here for a second. I'll read the rest, but so bringing up the Cold War, that wasn't for another like 10, 15, 20 years, right? Like 45 we got out of the war, and then it wasn't the Cold War, didn't start right away. It took a little bit of time. What the fuck happened during the Geneva trials where you were supposed to put all these guys to death because of war crimes, right?
Yeah.
Like, remember that before our next slide, okay? So just an FYI.
Okay.
Purpose: to secure German scientific and technical expertise, particularly in rocketry and weapons, for American projects to gain America. We need the eagle.
I know we need
gain an advantage over the Soviet Union. So FYI on that, like the purpose right there, scientific and technical expertise. Motherfuckers, you had all their documents, you had all their experiments because you took over the area. You took over their fucking whole scientific lab. You know what they did, you fucks. You don't need to bring them to America. It's just lies on lies on lies. Timeline. The official program ran from 1945 to 1947, where they should have been executed. But similar recruitment efforts continued until 1962. So they kept going. Why? Why in 20 years or 18 years can you not figure out if they're war criminals and execute them? What the fuck are we doing? Recruitment. The program, managed by the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, GIOA, the fucking weird thing, brought scientists like Werner von Braun to the U.S., which you'll read him next. It's funny. Contributions. German scientists and engineers helped develop U.S. guided missiles, jet engines, and other technologies, with Werner von Braun becoming a key figure in NASA and the Apollo program. That doesn't go anywhere. FYI, take a look over the 20 years. Controversy. The program is a subject of debate due to the decisions to overlook wartime records of some scientists, including those who were former Nazis or had been involved in horrific experiments. Let me read that again. The program is a subject of debate due to the decision to overlook the wartime records of some scientists, including those who were former Nazis or had been involved in horrific experiments. Okay? So let that sink in for a second, because then when you go and look at what the fucking United States government has done to the population unknowingly during their experiments, okay, boom, there you go. Nazis did it. And our government let them do it. So then I'll read the top sentence here and I'll let you read the rest. So, any SS officers involved in Operation Paperclip, just because I wanted to see what names they might throw at us. So, go ahead now.
Okay. Yes, the SS officers were involved in the Operation Paperclip. Most notably,
Werner von Braun.
Werner von Braun.
I know it's a weird one.
Yeah, it says a key figure in rocketry who was an SS officer. Other scientists with significant Nazi ties, including some who were former SS members, were also recruited as part of a program. Werner von Braun, I guess that's how you say it. A high-ranking SS
Werner
officer.
von Braun. Yes. Go ahead. Sorry.
Excuse my German.
High-ranking
SS officer and central figure in the development of the V-2 rocket. He was brought to the U.S. through Operation Paperclip and later played a major role in the American space program at NASA.
They didn't go anywhere. But yeah, they made videos showing they went to the moon. Yeah.
That's awesome. other SS and Nazi Party members. Many of the scientists recruited had been members of the Nazi Party.
That's right.
And a minority had been members of the SS. Or SA. I'm definitely not going to say that.
Yeah, just go on to the next thing. I don't know it either.
Controversial nature. Separation was controversial because they brought individuals who had ties to the Nazi regiment to the U.S. for government employment.
Yeah. Wow. What the fuck? We fought them, but we're going to employ them? But yet they let everybody else who wants to join the government? Like,
why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we?
Why wouldn't we? You're right.
Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. Wartime roles. Some of the recruited scientists had been involved in activities connected to the Nazi war effort, including work that supported the German military.
Blammo. So here's the thing that's funny, Mr. Eddie, is that you don't remember Werner von Braun. Werner von Braun is one of the videos that we did earlier that was the final card. You remember he said what they're going to do as far as the final card is going to be the aliens taking over, but it's all bullshit. You don't remember that?
No.
You gotta get off TikTok, son. No, so he actually, his final warning, and I'll put up his final warnings there, but it was like, first they're going to do this, then they're going to do this, then they're going to do this, and then the final card, you don't remember that lady saying? He kept telling me the final card is going to be aliens, and it's going to
yes.
There you go. Okay.
Yes. Now I remember now.
So yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy that told us that's going to be all bullshit. So we need to fucking not listen to any of that bullshit. Isn't it fucking interesting though that they're like, we took how many millions of troops from America because of the thing that happened in Japan and everybody joined in and we went there, right? Or no, not the thing that happened in Japan. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor and then we all decided to go in there. Because that was a whole other thing that I think we're going to discuss, but you kind of hear it in the next video. But isn't it amazing how the United States government does not give a shit?
Oh, no.
They just said, fuck it. We're going to learn a lot more if we have these intelligent guys in here. Let's bring them in. Let's let them work the shit. We'll take over control of it. And if they want to, be terrible, whatever. That's fine. They can destroy our own population. Oh, unfucking believable. Any questions you got? We're going to the next slide.
Nope. I'm just trying to put an eagle sound bit, but it's not letting me.
Bro, you ain't gonna find it. I got one. I'll put it in the fucking recording so you're fine.
No, it's just letting me. I downloaded the MP3. I got it. There's like an actual website that does sound bit, but Discord, I don't know if I need to get Nitro to be able to.
Yeah, I think you need to buy Nitro. I want to say you need the monthly subscription, otherwise you're not going to be able to add that sound bit. Yeah, because I looked at the ones that they give you for free, and they're all shit, like crickets and clapping and blah, 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 blah. All right, don't worry. I got the eagle thing, and next time I say America, you'll hear the eagle, okay? You'll hear it. And then I could even put up the GIF I have of an eagle with a assault rifle. I can put that up too. But, yeah. So, okay, any other questions you got before we go next?
No.
Okay. So, my next question, after having the question of SS troops, which were the Gestapo, having those guys in there, was any war criminals involved in Operation Paperclip? And then here's what Google AI even says. Yes, some individuals involved in Operation Paperclip had been members of the Nazi Party, SS, and SA, which we didn't know what those meant or what they say. And their involvement in war crimes or inhumane acts was noted, though it was often overlooked by U.S. officials for national interest. For example, Werner von Braun, a V-2 rocket scientist, used slave labor from the Buchenwald concentration camp. Another scientist, Hubert Hubertus Strughold, a pioneer of space medicine, was involved in inhumane concentration camp experiments. Wernher von Braun, a leading figure in the V-2 rocket program, von Braun became the director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. He was a member of the Nazi Party and Waffen-SS, which are bad guys. His rocket experiments at Peenemünde used slave labor from concentration camps. Just a little side note here. They fucking pumped V-2 rockets into Britain and fucked it up. Killed a lot of people. So his program killed a lot of people, and he used slave labor from concentration camps. So he's like doubly bad guy, but yet we put him in fucking charge of NASA. Hubertus Strughold, a prominent space medicine scientist, which is funny because they still haven't been to space as far as I know. Strughold was later evaluated by the FBI but was allowed to join the program despite evidence linking him to inhumane concentration camp experiments. Who the fuck knows what he was doing to those people? Google AI won't even tell you. Other scientists, many of the scientists recruited had been members of the Nazi Party, and some had significant records or were members of the SS or SA. Some were involved in projects like a vaccine program. People should hear that and be like, for the Reich that involved war crimes and concentration camps. Oh my God. So yes, we overlooked a lot of war crimes and let these people come in because our scientists were not up to par, and they figured, hey, these guys know how to fucking kill people. Let's bring them in. Like, of course. Unbelievable,
that's
man.
the only way.
Dude, what the fuck, right? Like, and unfortunately, we'll see if we get stricken from YouTube on this one, but anybody thinking the government is on their side, please take a look back and look at all the shit that they've done to the people and realize they ain't here for us. They're here to make more money for them and to fuck you up. This is literally it, man. There it is. There's our fucking America.
I did it.
You did. You made it happen. Good for you. But yeah, like, seriously, that's what the fuck, man. That's such bullshit. Like, anybody who stops and thinks about it for a second should understand that, no, they ain't here for us, man. Maybe we should stop paying our taxes if they're going to keep fucking killing us.
Oh, my God.
Ugh.
That was hilarious.
Unfucking real. But yeah, any questions you got about the war criminals that we brought here in America?
No, it's just, I'm glad that I was able to do it.
That was good timing, too.
Of your speech.
That was perfect.
It just gave it more attitude.
America. So this next one here then is going to be funny. Discord's good. Can be good. But yeah, so this next thing here then is going to be the last video we have for tonight, which is good. I
was just going to say Discord could be better. If you got Nitro.
If you fucking pay Nitro. Yeah, you pay for the bullshit. But yeah, you don't have to worry about paying for the bullshit. You can get most of the good stuff out of it and not pay. So FYI. I found a little mosquito in the house. I'm going to try to kill it here in a second. But yeah, so this next video is another one just like you heard before, as far as with its investigative journalist. This is a different journalist that he had on the program. I think it's the same guy. I'm almost positive it's the same guy. But these are both on BitChute. I will have all the links again in the description box so everyone will see. But I think
what timestamps?
With timestamps, absolutely, and you'll be able to skip through because YouTube finally allowed us to use it because they found us. They found us worthy. Dude, what the fuck?
Weird.
Our first 4 videos didn't have any timestamps, and then
I remember how you showed me that you had like your other YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And you did the exact same thing in the other video timestamped.
Yeah, it just fucking popped in there immediately. Like, I literally put it in there, and then I hit save, and then they were there. And then I put them on here. Days later, nothing happens. And then after we hit our, like, I think it was like our 4th or 5th video, then they're like, okay, I see them. I'll put them in there for you guys.
This is not just like one video and done.
No, you guys are trying. Okay, we're gonna make sure that people could skip ahead so you don't get full credit. I guess that's probably part of it. Like, these guys are getting too many hours of watch time. Let's fuck them so they can just skip ahead. Oh, fucking YouTube. But yeah, so this one here you're gonna like this lady a lot. I really like her a lot. And if you say you don't like her, I'm gonna find you and punch you in the mouth. But
so we're fighting.
We're fighting if you don't like this lady. But I can almost guarantee that you're gonna like her probably more than I do. So yeah, so you ready?
I'm ready. Man.
You want to do an America Eagle sound again?
Oh, of course.
America.
Let me go back. Go.
Oh, so you got to have it on the ready, you fuck. There we go. Okay, America. All right, so here we go. You're gonna like her. You're gonna like this quick little video, which is actually kind of long. But here we go.
Seen the films The Odessa File and The Quiller Memorandum are just two of several feature films dramatising secret SS cults surviving long after World War II. So how real are those films? We examine two compelling and supposedly factual accounts detailing a Nazi financial empire very much alive in the post-war world. And we go to Argentina tonight.
Yepers.
We start this evening with Lawrence de Mello from Argentina. Hi, Lawrence, and welcome to Drive Time.
Hi, thanks for having me, Tony.
Sorry that the music's a little bit loud for you there. Lawrence, can you just introduce yourself and explain what you're up to over there in Buenos Aires?
Well, I've been here, Tony, since 2002, when I came over I had a change of lifestyle. I came here, and I was already an investigative journalist and television producer. And the more I met people and socialised, of course, the Nazis became a topic. So I couldn't resist to investigate what the presence actually was today, because it's still a very sort of normal affair to talk about Nazis next door. So.
Okay, well, for many people, they don't necessarily make the connection between Argentina and the Nazis, but it has actually quite a large German population, doesn't it?
Well, it's not just that, Tony. There was an open-door policy of immigration to Argentina for the last 200 years. And, of course, Perón wanted to capitalise on the technology of Germany towards the end of the Second World War. So, of course, he was going to take anybody that was willing to come and wanted to make deals with them. So I think that's quite common knowledge.
Can you tell us a bit about the Perón regime, then?
Perón, okay, he was a dictatorship, of course, as you know, and his wife was Eva. But not only that, it wasn't just at the end of the war that Perón had connections with Nazi Germany, although they were neutral, as you probably know, Argentina. But in 1943, Perón actually went to Germany to discuss an arms deal, weapons deals, technology, etc. So he was already quite interested in what was going on with technology and Nazis, even before they knew that they were going to lose the war.
Now, one of the ways I came across you was through your connection to John Ainsworth Davis, who goes under also a pseudonym of Christopher Crichton. Tell us a little bit about who he was and what his role was at the end of World War II.
Well, Christopher Crichton is a pseudonym for John Ainsworth Davis, and he was actually an operative in World War II, and he was groomed and headhunted by Desmond Morton and Churchill, and in fact he grew up on the Chartwell estate with Churchill as a young boy. We have found documentary evidence that in fact Morton was his godfather, and he was taken in at very... People forget today, we look at our 16-year-olds today and, you know, they can't even make a sandwich, but during the war we had chaps flying Spitfires at 16 and 17 years of age, so it wasn't unusual to take such young people to go into operations. So he was groomed, he was taken in, he was working for special operations, and one of his colleagues was actually, his superior was Ian Fleming, who was actually a commander with the intelligence services, Royal Navy. So he took on this name, Christopher Crichton, as a pseudonym in the 80s, and he collaborated with some work it was very, very difficult because remember you've got the Official Secrets Act, but at the same time he wanted to get his story out. In 1979 he did a co-authorship with Brian Garfield for a book called The Paladin. Now The Paladin was printed as fiction. Now it's quite curious, so this book comes out and it's The Paladin, and if you check it out, The Paladin, Brian Garfield, you'll see on the front cover, you see this young boy with Churchill in the background overshadowing him.
Totally.
And basically it covers the story of John Ainsworth Davis' life growing up under the shadow of Churchill with his godfather, being taken from Ampleforth School by Desmond Morton, and then groomed and put into operations. Now when this book was published, Brian Garfield is if anybody knows, is the one and the same author of The Death Wish, okay, Death Wish film, Charles Bronson. So he's a big Hollywood novelist and screenwriter. Why would he bring in Christopher Crichton? Now, Christopher Crichton came in, gave him the information, they did this book, and then in 1989, Crichton did another co-authorship with a chap called Noel Hind, who did the Khrushchev Objective. Again, this does not cover his growing up with Churchill, etc. What it does cover is the Crab affair. I don't know if anybody remembers Buster Crabbe, who was the British naval diver.
Yeah, but the principle here being that if they were to write a historical non-fiction book account of events, that they could easily be imprisoned under the Official Secrets Act. So the idea really was to write these stories as fictional novels.
Now the sad thing is, Crichton, then he went on to 96 and he published OpJB, Operation James Bond. So the three books really need to be looked at to analyse, you see the whole picture. Now when this book came out, of course people enjoyed it, juicy, you know, covers everything. It mainly focuses on Operation James Bond, which was the operation to remove Martin Bormann from Berlin.
Now you already mentioned Ian Fleming, because of course he went on to write the James Bond books, so can you explain why it was called Operation James Bond?
I have had access, now the thing is of course, as journalists we have to go and check it out, Tony, as we know, but I've had access to some brilliant documentation because Christopher Crichton was passed off as a charlatan, and in fact, Rupert Allison, who writes as Nigel West, I was in touch with him about a year or 18 months ago, and I asked him about Christopher Crichton. He said, no, total charlatan. I was paid by a patron to investigate him, which was Schumann, which was a big critic for the West End, an important critic, and basically he poo-pooed him. Now, in the press, everybody said, wonderful book, Operation James Bond, but this guy's invented it. Now, you have to start looking, standing back and saying, first of all, Garfield and Noel Hind are extremely prolific writers. And why would they bring somebody in? They don't need somebody else's ideas. So, as you were saying, it's a way to get the information out without breaching the Official Secrets Act. Now, Operation James Bond comes across as being this amazing story. That was published in the UK, 1996, by Simon & Schuster, and it was also published in France and Germany. It was a bestseller in France and Germany. It was never published in the United States of America.
Amazing.
I came into contact with Christopher Crichton, John Ainsworth Davis, in 2006 because I was investigating Bormann. We said, okay, let's check out if we can get hold of John Ainsworth Davis and see if his information that I have of Bormann here in Argentina match up. We started to communicate, and then he dropped some documents to me saying that he needed to get these things published offshore in secret. And this manuscript was actually a fill-in on everything that really happened, but it also included documentation from Louis Mountbatten, Lord Louis Mountbatten, who was the first Sea Lord, as you know, who commissioned John Ainsworth Davis to tell the truth 25 years after his death and that of Churchill. So that's where we are now. Now, everybody can say, well, maybe it's not true. Crichton has a wonderful fantasy. He's invented this. But having said that, you have to start looking at the big picture in that. Last year, in 2012, Christopher Crichton was invited to a commemoration service. Lady Patricia Mountbatten. Now, Lady Patricia Mountbatten is the Countess Mountbatten of Burma, the daughter of Mountbatten. And she's fully aware of the OpJB book. Now, in OpJB, it mentions Mountbatten's instructions, everything that Mountbatten asked to do. And remember, within OpJB, we bomb, well, Crichton bombs an Allied submarine, which is the Dutch, to prevent the intelligence being returned that Pearl Harbor was a threat. The assassination of British service people because they knew that there was information being snuffled. So Crichton went in and had to do these hits on his own people. So surely Lady Patricia is not going to be seen in a photograph, let alone have anything to do with somebody that wrote so much about her father.
No, that's right. One of the most interesting aspects of this, Lawrence, is your ability to double-check what John Ainsworth Davis, Christopher Crichton, is actually saying over there in Argentina. So what have you found about Bormann? Because there's still a lot saying that Bormann died right at the end of the war and he never survived the war.
No, he was definitely here. And this is how I got in touch with Crichton, because I'd already been researching this for about 5 years when I finally got in touch with Crichton, because I thought, let's just check up with his side of the story, etc. And it took me a long time to get hold of him. No. Absolutely convinced. I interviewed, very, very fortunately, apart from certain other VIPs here, the ADC to Peron. And this gentleman was formerly the head of the Federal Police of Argentina, highly decorated military man, decorated by Charles de Gaulle, decorated by Hirohito, bona fide VIP internationally on the military circuit. And he was the man that was responsible for dismantling the narcotic trade in the 90s here in South America. Now, I was fortunate to be introduced to him. He was 95 when I met him, and we started to talk about things, and he wanted me to look after his memoirs, and we started to talk about Nazis, etc., and of course Bormann came out. And he finally agreed after 3 years that he would testify on tape for me that he met Bormann in Buenos Aires in 1950, at the end of 1952, 1953. And of course, you forget at the time, people say, oh, well, why didn't he say anything? At the time, it was just another person. It's like you meeting Ed Balls in 30 years. Right. Maybe Ed Balls becomes some weird sort of person. So at the time, it wasn't a big deal to have Martin Bormann in Buenos Aires, and this gentleman would have to escort him around because he was part of the national security. But also, Martin Bormann was certainly installed in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Buenos Aires, which was owned by Germans, throughout 1953. I lose track of Bormann in Argentina around the time of the Eichmann kidnapping, when Mossad came over, but actually just a bit before, and also Mengele also does a bunch then, because they're all here. Mengele, Eichmann, Aribert Heim, Karl Vernet. Karl Vernet is here as well. Karl Vernet was the chap, one of the doctors, equally to Mengele, that he was in Auschwitz, and he's the one that created the pink triangle, putting triangles on homosexuals. Blammo. And he implanted monkey testicles, etc. Now, Mengele and Vernet, when they came to Argentina, were actually given licenses to practice as doctors under the Ministry of Argentine Health.
Nice.
So these chaps, when they were here, they weren't hiding, although Bormann was, because Bormann was wanted. Why was he wanted? Because he had access to all the bank accounts.
Nailed it.
And all the gold that's been recovered by Nazi Germany.
Yep. Okay, so I suppose the $64,000 question, Lawrence, is what happened to all that loot? I mean, we know that much of it was laundered through the Sullivan and Cromwell's law firm in New York through something like a decade or more. But where is that money now? Do we know?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew where it was. But the thing is, I haven't focused too much on everyone says follow the money. I've been following the most important thing is to prove that Martin Bormann got out.
Yeah.
And Martin Bormann got out with the protection of UCUSA. Not so much the USA, but mainly Britain. Churchill wanted him out. They wanted control. And remember, at the end of the day, I mean, they put the Nazi scientists that supposedly inventing gas chambers, but you think they're not going to pick up the money guy? Remember, Martin Bormann was not in the camp putting pistols to people's heads. He was actually Hitler's handler, and he was managing the money, he was out managing the movements, he was managing the inversion, the investment into other nations before World War II even started.
Right.
So, of course, they're going to go get the man with the money.
Okay, Lawrence, just finally, can you just recommend maybe TV documentaries or anything that people might be able to have a look at to find out more about this?
It's very difficult, because the thing is, I find, well, that's what I'm planning to do, but not just a documentary. Now with John Ainsworth Davis, finally he realizes it's time he's got to come out. But documentaries are pretty tough because, you know, everything's edited, and you have to remember the media is controlled by those that do not want the information to come out. But
why do you say that? What evidence have you got for that?
Well, you know yourself with Paul Manning's book, when he tried to get his book out, and in fact, you alerted me to the fact that they murdered his son. Now, the media is controlled because the media is controlled by big money people, etc. And of course, they have to, well, when you talk about, I don't want to say New World Order, but you know better than that, than me on that score, Tony, because you've been working on it for many, many years. So you know there is a group of people that control everything, and they only permit what should come out, what shouldn't come out. Let me give you a very quick example. the Simon Wiesenthal Center, which, as we know, was set up by Simon Wiesenthal, and their brief was to catch Nazis. I contacted the head of the Simon Wiesenthal Center 4 years ago, and his name is Dr. Efrain Zurev, and he was the one that orchestrated the last chance operation. I contacted him for access to the Bormann file because I told him I have somebody who I believe is Bormann's daughter, born in 1953. And if he really was interested, he would say, yeah, okay, Lawrence, here's the file, here's the DNA, tell me what you've got. First of all, he blocked me for 3 months, and when I spoke to him finally, I said, why are you blocking me? Like, I've got this. Can you help me? He said, I don't buy it. I said, I'm not asking you to buy it, Dr. Sewell. I'm just asking you to help me have access to the file that Wiesenthal Center hold on Martin Bormann. Been absolutely refused. So the thing is, if even the Simon Wiesenthal Center are blocking journalists and people accessing information, you've got to start asking questions. Why?
Yeah, right.
Lawrence de Mello from Buenos Aires, thanks ever so much for joining us on Drive Time this evening. Fascinating. And old Labour Oxford economist Martin Summers is with us too. Martin, can you put what Lawrence has been saying there into context? Because it sounds like Lawrence has actually literally met people who were with Bormann in South America. So the idea of him actually dying at the end of World War II, as some would have us believe, seems to be out of the window.
Yeah, well, Paul Manning pretty much convinced me, his book pretty much convinced me, and he was a war correspondent throughout World War II who knew all the principals involved, including Churchill. I think but for a British audience we need to get through people's heads is it wasn't just Perron who was being nice to the Nazis. Our own intelligence service were being very nice to them, and of course that's the root of an awful lot of problems in the modern world.
What about this Manning book? She mentioned OPJB there by Christopher Crichton. They do seem to sort of fit together. They're both talking about Bormann. One is looking at the way in which Bormann was got out of Nazi Germany in 1945 from under the noses of the Russians and got over to Argentina at that point. What then happened to all this money?
Well, it was basically invested in Latin America and then reinvested in the Federal Republic of West Germany with British and American support.
Yep.
I think what people have got to realise is it's been on the record for a very long time. If people do a search on the internet for Operation Paperclip, large numbers of Nazis were A, helped to escape, and B, just absorbed into the Western security apparatus. The whole Gladio structure in Western Europe was often staffed by ex-Nazis. And Reinhard Gehlen, who used to head up the Eastern Front Gestapo, just ends up as head of the West German intelligence services at the end of the war. I mean, it's absolutely straightforward. Klaus Barbie, the butcher of Lyon, was escaped to Argentina and then employed by the CIA to train the Bolivian armed forces in torture techniques. So this linkage, and of course you mentioned Sullivan and Cromwell there, which was basically Alan Dulles' law firm, and he was the founder of the CIA, and they were the ones who were laundering the Nazi money. This stuff is actually well known, and people should understand it. Prescott Bush, the grandfather of George W. Bush, was arrested during World War II for working for the enemy. Now, you didn't hear that much. You don't hear that much on Fox News, do you? But it's a fact, and the fact is that big money talks. It talked in the 1940s, and it still talks today.
Always. So, like, what the fuck, man? Oh man, like all the shit we've been told is all fucking lies. Like that's it. That's literally the outcome of all this is like doing how much time do we spend looking into this? Fucking an hour, 2 hours, and it's a total fucking lie from everything we were told during school. That took months to go through a goddamn chapter.
And I want to bring this up again, and like ever since I heard it, like yesterday, last episode. Sorry, I don't know why I said yesterday.
I don't know why you said yesterday either. It was a long time ago, son.
Yeah. Like that, the story gets written by the winner, and that really bugged me.
Yeah.
That really like.
Yeah.
Caused something.
History is written by the winners. It's never written by the losers. Why would they be able to write the history?
Like that really like.
Well, think about going all the way back. So, and it probably hasn't fucked your mind as far as you think, though. Because go back to all the shit you were told during Greek times, all the shit you were told during the Crusades, all the shit you were told during all this bullshit fake history that you were told. going supposedly all the way back to 2,000, 5,000 years ago. Oh my God, this is what happened. It's like, really? And that's what bugs me about when I see these scientists talking about all these things that happened beyond, like, BC, right? Before Christ. It's like, okay. You have any fucking idea? It's like, no. You have no fucking idea. You're just being told, and that's the issue I have with people with a PhD. Like, guess what? The people we have today with a PhD, guess what they were taught, Eddie?
Lies.
Fake news. Like, to coin a phrase, and maybe I'll put a graphic up. Fake news from Mr. Trump. But literally, like, it's all fake shit. We've been told all this fake shit. We have not heard any bit of the truth. And it's to do what? To keep you just in this small little bubble so that you don't go outside of it and kind of like, oh, so you mean Mengele, who murdered thousands of people, if not more, he was in charge of shit.
If
oh,
not more,
okay.
yeah.
It's like, all right. So let's give him lots of money to do more experiments on the fucking U.S. population. And just look at Argentina. Argentina just brought him in. Just brought him in. Didn't even have to worry about anything because they were neutral. They were neutral.
Open arms and everything.
Right. Same thing with like Switzerland. Switzerland's neutral. Everybody forgets about that. But there's also banks in Switzerland that you can actually go and deposit things and they cannot take your funds because they're neutral in anything that happens. So how many, and you've heard that in how many fucking movies have you heard that we're putting it in our Swiss bank?
Yep.
All fucking time. Every goddamn movie.
Every single time.
Well, that's the same thing I told you. I think it was our last one or one before, but that's that whole karmic resolution thing where they have to tell you what they're doing because they're so fucking evil in it that this will reduce their karma because we told you we did it. It was in a movie, but we told you we did it.
You knew about it.
You knew about it. You heard about it. We told you.
Nobody
Don't worry.
lied.
Right.
Nobody lied.
Right. So let me ask you a real question, though, Eddie.
Go for it.
Was I ready? Was I totally on board? Like on point with this lady, though? She fucking knows what she's talking about.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. Like, you remember when we talked last time? Like whenever we bring up like reporters from
actual investigative journalists, investigative journalists. I'll try to say it without slurring.
Like. And I think it also has to do, like, in general nowadays, like, a lot of, well, don't get me wrong, there's probably some people that still are the same way, or still...
There's a lot still today, but they're no longer, they don't have as much, a bit big of a voice, I'll say that.
Exactly, you're right. It's just, like, they take a lot of pride in their job.
Yeah, because they actually want to tell the people the fucking truth. But the issue is...
That goes for every single, like, type of job. Like,
yeah.
A lot of people... Now we have
except for sales, but yeah.
But I mean, what I'm trying to say is that, like, money focus, and it should be like, if you have a person that is so driven by their
convictions to do the right thing,
job or right. Their job or their profession, they should get paid.
I agree.
A substantial amount of money.
Dude, that's the biggest issue. They've taken all the money away from journalists. And I guarantee you it's because of this fact. That they don't want you telling the truth or figuring out the truth. They want you to tell the story that was told to them, and then you just repeat it. You just repeat it, and then throw up, and then repeat it, and then throw up again. That's it. They do not want you uncovering any real truths. Because... history's written by the winners, baby.
Like, they should get paid.
Dude, the crime of the whole thing. Well, that's just like,
they're doing a great job.
Well, go and take a look at the medical fucking industry. Look at the medical industry where you got nurses that actually do about 90% of the goddamn job. And then the doctors get 100% of the fucking cash. It's like, ooh, what? It's like, that's the joke of the whole thing. Even though the medical industry should be fucking disbanded, and we should figure out other things too. But like, there's a lot of crimes that happen as far as with people getting paid that they won't do it. They will not pay journalists to go and investigate things, because if you investigate things, it fucks up. Like, here, the Mountbatten report. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're not going to get any money for doing that. Because if you go against Mountbatten, which is some billionaire somewhere, where did they say? I forget where they say. What, it doesn't matter. Some billionaire somewhere, trillionaire somewhere that's got all this money. That's why we need to get rid of these fucking monarchs. We really have to get rid of these monarchs. It needs to be controlled by the people. The people need to be in control. We do not need these fuckstick... What? What are they? They're just people that got born to somebody else. So because their parents screwed this lady, now this person's in charge? Get the fuck out of here. Go eat shit. I don't care. Batten the hatches. Take out the fucking goddamn whole castle. Like, we don't need monarchs. We don't need monarchs. I've read some guy who's actually really good. He's got a good idea on a lot of things. But when you read his thing, he's a monarchist. And it's like, you think it's like, so you think that it'd be better for just one person to just rule over everything? Why? Why do you think that? Why do you put so let me get, okay. Let me go back. Because if the people are going to be so unintelligent to what's going on, maybe then it makes sense to have one person lead over the people. But if you actually give the fucking information to the people and don't distract them with nonsense like fucking TikTok and Facebook and pornography and all these different things that they've jammed, and fucking sports. Sports is another huge thing. How many people do you know that are all fucking addicted to sports? Right?
It's like well, nowadays what I see it more is like they're addicted to sports because they can bet money on it.
Exactly. Blammo. Which, it's funny. Did you see the NBA got in trouble?
No, I didn't.
No, motherfucker. My dad told me about it last week. It's great. So the NBA's in trouble. They are fixing bets. And I guarantee you, before we know, we're going to have the NFL and the NBA. Because here's the other thing that's
or the MLB too.
Yeah, fucking, of course, baseball's fucking. All of them are rigged. All of them are rigged. You've heard of the Bormann bread and circuses, right?
Yeah.
You know what that means?
They always said that like the NBA is rigged, like for years. That it's like scripted. It's scripted. Everybody like.
Anybody who wants to really get to the bottom of it literally needs to watch the World Wrestling Federation for a day. And then after you watch that for a day or two, I mean, maybe take a week, watch the World Wrestling Federation for a week. And if you tell me by the end of that week it's fucking real, I mean, I guess I could send you to the gallows. But like, we really need to have a discussion because it ain't fucking real. And if you look at the NBA and you look at the NFL, especially recently, because they've been making it really obvious in the NFL that it's fucking fake. Because, like, how many times, like, there's no reason that the Chiefs should have won the past couple of years. The only reason that the Chiefs should have won is because Taylor Swift is dating that fucking clown, whatever the fuck his name is. What's his name, Eddie?
I don't know. I don't like either. I don't watch NFL too much.
What? No, all sports are fucking scripted, dude. It's so fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's all bullshit. It's funny, actually, too, because, like, I might keep this in. The other day, I was talking to my father because they're playing the NFL in Europe. and he was literally, I was talking to him as he was watching like the score and everything, and he told me, he's like, okay, it's 24-12 right now, or 24-16, whatever the fuck it was, but he's like, I guarantee you there's about 20 minutes left in this game, or 25 minutes left in this game, and I guarantee you that they're going to get closer to the score and then probably win by the end of it. And sure enough, bing, it fucking happened. They fucking won because they were playing in Europe and they want to have interest and all this. And it's like, and then sure enough, within the next couple of weeks, the fucking NBA scandal comes out where the fucking refs are fucking cheating. It's like, okay, yeah, of course they're all fucking rigged. They're all rigged based on, and that's why I have not won $1 million plus in my all like 18 leg parlays because they're all full of shit. Like, otherwise I should have won because those teams were gonna lose. But no. They looked and they're like, okay, so we got this many bets going out, we got this many bets going out, so we're not gonna let them win. That's exactly what happens. It's all bullshit, Eddie. All sports is breads. It's literally the Roman breads and circuses. So that way you stop paying attention to what's happening left and right. You stop paying attention to what the politicians are doing. You stop paying attention to what our government's doing. Because guess what? The fucking Bears are coming up against the Vikings. It's like, who cares? Who gives a shit? It's not a big deal. It's literally not a big deal. Nobody fucking gets paid based on what these clowns do. But yet they spend so much energy and effort to... Ugh. But yeah, other than that, ready to go on to the next thing we're gonna have to read. Are you ready to read?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so you want to read more or less?
I'll read more.
You read more? Okay, good. You go to the left side. So this here is the spoils of war, which most people don't really talk about when it comes to the Nazis taking the gold. All right, so here you go.
Okay. Historians estimate the Nazis stole between 600 and 800 tons of gold
Jesus Christ.
during World War II.
Yep.
In 1942, the
45.
value of that, what does it say, bullion? Bullion was approximately...
Bullion. I should have read the first part.
Bullion
Bullion was approximately 600 million, which would be worth billions of dollars today.
Wow. Source of stolen gold.
Billions.
The Nazis systematically plundered gold from several sources, including central banks of occupied nations. As German forces advanced across Europe, they seized the gold reserves of conquered countries, including Belgium and the Netherlands. Individuals and Holocaust victims confiscated personal property from Jewish people and other
a lot of silver
by the Nazi regime was converted into wealth. These included jewelry, coins, and even gold fillings extracted from victims of concentration camps. Neutral countries. The Nazis used neutral countries like Switzerland and Portugal to launder gold in exchange for foreign currency. The Swiss National Bank,
Swiss, I told you about them earlier,
received an estimated of $440 million worth of Nazi gold during the war.
$440 million in 1945. Oh my God. The fuck, man. Discovery and fate of the gold. So, the Merkers mine in 1945. U.S. troops discovered a vast trove of Nazi plunder hidden in a salt mine in Merkers, Germany. The cache contained over 100 tons. 100, but yet you saw over there 800 tons. 100 tons of gold bullion, foreign currency, and thousands of bags of gold coins. The tripartite? That's a shitty name. Tripartite Gold Commission. After the war, the Allies established the Tripartite Commission for the... Well, of course they established a commission because that's fucking more money from the taxpayers. Sorry, okay, I'm upset. That was established a Tripartite Commission for the restitution of monetary gold to oversee the return of recovered gold to the nations from which it was stolen. Bullshit! They paid that group to fucking steal it. Still missing. A significant portion of the looted gold has never been recovered. Some was laundered through the international financial system, and some may remain hidden in undisclosed caches. So, and you heard the lady say the Bormann was the money man, right?
Yeah.
He knew where all this shit was. He knew what the fuck was going on. So do you really think they would have fucking killed him on some fucking bridge in a fucking tank? Like, let's be serious for a second. Stop lying to us. Like, tell us the goddamn truth. You stole all the fucking money. You put it into all this side bullshit. You made all this shit happen. And yet, now you're more in control because you stole all this fucking money. Dude, I know you were a 6.3. You're probably a 6.5 or a 6.8 now, aren't you? Well, let's wait until we get to the final here. Let's wait till we get. What questions do you have about the loot that was stolen?
No, it was like obvious that obviously that because it's just like the amount of research, the amount of experiments, the amount of like money that they just threw to this war. Obviously, they had fucking money back in the day.
Oh, well, they got fucking money today too because they stole it all from way back when.
I was gonna say, like, even the people like they all the people that were involved in that, probably like high ranks, they probably just accumulated so much like generational wealth that it's stupid.
Oh my God, that's the joke of all. I would almost assume that that's the joke of all these wars, is that it's just to enrich a small few people every single time.
Yeah.
And to continue to increase their wealth so that way they have an even further thing. Because guess what? You and I walk into a bank and we say, hey, we need this to be done. They go, fuck you, get out.
Security.
Right, exactly. Security. They got guns. It's like, oh no, we don't have guns. But if some of these clowns walk in there with billions and millions of dollars from fucking 80 years ago, guess what? Today that's worth trillions of dollars. If you have $1 billion in 1945, that's worth trillions today. So who knows how much money they actually stole, and who knows what the fuck they actually did with all of that. It's just insane. But yeah, so to tell you the truth, me personally, and let's go into this next slide here, because I want to thank you all very much for watching. And I'm going to go into my rant here. But honestly, if they stole all that money, do you really think that they let that fucking guy die in 1945 next to Hitler? Or do you think they fucking took him out, moved him somewhere else, Operation James Bond, and stole all that money for themselves after they stole all the fucking scientists that were fucking murderous criminals? Like, they let all these murderous criminals come into the country. Argentina, there's a few other places they went to, but honestly, Argentina was a big one. And you heard that lady say Nazis living next door. Bleh. Still happens today, which was, I want to say that interview was within the past couple of years. It wasn't like that long ago, so it was still within the past couple of years, I want to say, because I thought I heard her say like 20 something years, and she moved there in 2002. But unfucking real, man. What do you think, Eddie? What do you think about all this? Do you think Martin Bormann died in 1945, and then 30 years later they found his corpse like next to a train station with bullshit fucking clay? Do you think that happened?
No, I generally don't think that happened at all.
What do you think happened to Martin Bormann? Let's ask Eddie's opinion here, since he's a 6.3 moving up from there. But let's see.
Well, he probably just got moved. He escaped. That's it. He went somewhere else as a refugee. I don't even know how that happened, but he just went somewhere to enjoy life.
Because James Bond saved him. That's what happened.
And just lived this life like nothing happened at all.
Yeah, right? Like, that's the other thing that amazes me, though, too. Like, Operation Mockingbird with Wernher von Braun, who was our NASA guy. And it's like, motherfucker, you killed thousands of people in Britain. You should literally die based on that alone. But fine, let's play the game of you join with us, right? Change his fucking name.
No, but
you know what I mean?
That's too much. But that's the thing. That's the thing you forget. They don't need to. You just said it yourself. When you go to somewhere with all this wealth, they look the other way.
Well, even beyond that, when you're protected by the state, that's another problem. When you're just straight up protected by the country that you went to, you don't need to change shit. Even though you would assume that they'd probably change his name and he wouldn't be Wernher von Braun still. He'd be like Stephen Bojangles or whatever the fuck they want to call him. Like, pick a name. I don't give a shit. But don't link him to his past where he literally created the V-2 rockets that destroyed Europe. Like, that's a fucking problem. But they don't care. They're not here for us.
Do not care. No,
therein lies the problem. Again, anybody who wants to sit down and have an argument with me or with Eddie on how our government's got our better behalf, they don't. They really don't. You know, I just realized something. Your watch doesn't have a band on it. Fuck you, AI. Look at your wrist.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, you don't have a fucking band. Come on, AI. You can't put a goddamn band. Would you not know what a human being looks like?
It cut off. Like, you can tell that it's like a little bit there.
Yeah, it merged into your cloth on your fucking jacket. Unbelievable. What a shitty thing. Yeah, and like you mentioned, I think a couple episodes ago, it's like because it's showing us how stupid AI is. It's like, no. That's not real. This is the stupid AI that we have access to. This isn't like the real AI that has access to like everything that's out there. Because I'm still almost positive that if you go look through all the wikis, because you've seen how many Wikipedia things are out there.
Yep.
It's not every single thing, right? And
yep.
I guarantee you that it's not realistic. It's not a real human being who's like, I'm going to write all this shit. It's like, bro, you don't know that much. But I guarantee you that all of our wikis were all made by some AI that we don't know anything about. Know nothing about. And we've just been given this stupid AI that doesn't even know how to make a fucking wristband for a watch. You make bullets okay, though. You got some bullets going okay.
They look like crayons.
Kinda. But, honestly, if you literally had a fucking whole bunch of bullets, depending on the size, they might look like crayons.
No, that is.
If you had all black crayons in your fucking vest, and you put them down into where it looked like you had bullets, I'd be like, oh my god, don't mess with this guy. Until I got closer and be like, those are fucking crayons. But yeah, honestly though, I do want to thank everybody for watching. This topic I didn't think, because I wanted to originally put these two together. I wanted to put this one together and then the Super British Royals coming up next, and I want to put it all together. But this one seemed very interesting. Like, this is a topic that you don't talk about much. What happened to the Germans after World War II? And to tell you the truth, a lot of them got away. And the sad thing is that I feel like they killed a lot of the lower level guys and let all these big level guys into the countries and gave them money and gave them jobs and made them wealthy. Like, that's the problem I have with the whole thing. It's like they did not help the people. They literally said, well, fuck these lower level guys. Let's kill them all off and let's make sure that Mengele lives on so he can torture the rest of the world.
Who knows? One of them might be your neighbor.
Dude, fucking A. We have no idea. We have no idea. So yeah, this was kind of a surprise for you too, yeah?
But like I said, I already had like a little bit of theories, like.
Well, everybody has somewhat of an idea that the Germans got out okay, right?
Like I said, the ones that I like knew or like have been hearing about it for years and years is that like a lot of them were in Argentina.
Yeah, they were. You were right there.
Like the most important ones too, like the high-ranking ones were in Argentina and lived out there.
Well,
that's.
Let me rephrase that. Because, or not rephrase, but let me retort that. I guess that's maybe the right word. But a lot of the more important ones went to America. Operation Paperclip. The less important ones that didn't have that seal of approval from America went to Argentina.
Because the one that I know is that Hitler was in Argentina.
I heard that too. Which I don't think we're gonna. Are we gonna talk about fucking Hitler? Let me look through real quick. Oh, and then I'll read the. We talk about Nazi gold, Nazi moon base, which there is no moon base. It's all bullshit. We never went to the moon. FYI. And then the New World Order. I'm just looking through all his chapters that he's got here that probably all consisted of a page to a page and a half. Yeah, he doesn't really talk about that. He talks about Rudolf Hess, which we kind of already talked about in this one, fucker. I wish you would put things in order to make sense. But it's just to keep you all confused. So let me read the last sentence, and then the alert level again, from this clown, Johnny Lewis. Old Nazis do eventually die, but the conspiracy theories about them go on forever. Martin Bormann survived the Second World War. Alert level 8. I'd say I agree with you, buddy. But I'd say it's a fucking 10, not an 8. Like, it happened. That motherfucker got out because they wanted to know where all the money was. And they took all the money, and they did everything that they could. Fucked us. So, yeah, what do you think? What are you going from? So, Eddie's threat level current, 6.3. Let's see if we can jump that up a bit. What do you think? You were 6.3 before we started this, son. You don't think?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm going to say. I'm about to say what ranking I am. Jesus.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
You know what? I was going to go up to 6.8.
I think you are at a 6.8, you fucker.
I mean, you know what? But nah. Let's do the 6.6 because like
6.6.
Yeah, because like this, like I said, I don't know how I came across it. Like I heard about it like a while ago.
Well, the bigger other thing that's funny, too, is, like, if you don't pay attention to movies, TV shows, and video games altogether, you ain't going to know much about shit. Because they kind of give it to you in all different places. They give you a little bit in movies, they give you a little bit in TV shows, and then they also give you a little bit in fucking video games, which you wouldn't think possible. You wouldn't think, wait, you're going to put actual information about things in fucking video games? Come on.
They just don't care anymore. They just put it out there.
Karmic resolution. It's the karmic resolution. I'm still a firm believer of that karmic resolution, man, because there's so many fucking things that I have seen that are like, why would you even tell anybody about that? Like, you shouldn't be telling anybody about that. And it's like, oh, well, we have to because we don't want super hardcore karma to come and hit us in the ass. It's like, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then. Like, that I get. But other than that, what the fuck? Oh, man. What a fucking weird thing. What a fucking weird thing. Martin Bormann, man, I did not think that this was going to take as much time as it did, but I'm glad we stuck to just the one thing. Could you imagine going into a whole other fucking topic now?
Oh yeah, it would have been too much.
Dude, we'd be fucking 8 hours long. Oh my goodness. So we'll see. The next thing is the British Royals, which is unfortunate because I kind of want to add some Diana stuff into it, but it's not talking about Diana because there's a whole other fucking chapter, which is probably a page and a half about Diana. So, next thing's coming up. We got British royal family. We got the Bush Bin Laden connection, which is literally something I kind of want to fucking find out about. And then we got Roberto Calvi, which I've never heard that name before in my life. So, we'll get the next ones out. We'll hopefully get something going. And if me and Eddie stay at this trajectory, we'll be done with this book in the next 5 years. Other than that, I do want to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate it a ton. I hope you learned a little bit, or at least kind of piqued your brain and been like, hey, maybe you should kind of figure out what the fuck's going on. Because that's all we want to do. We really want to just give some type of information, give a little bit of insight, and let people kind of explore on their own. Because literally, like, you don't have to trust us. We don't give a shit. You don't have to, we do, but we don't give a shit at the same time. Like, go look yourself. Find out. And after you go find out yourself, you can be like, motherfuckers. They fucking lied to us about all of this. It's just insane, man. Absolutely insane. But yeah, anything you want to give, you want to thank the beautiful people, Eddie, before we... Oh, well, of course,
thank you again for tuning in one more time. It's always fun making these. I enjoy them. I'm pretty sure James enjoys doing this too.
Dude, I fucking love doing this shit because it's like, oh my god, every time I find out something else, I'm like... Because I have done a lot. I'm sorry to rant again, but I literally have done a lot of research into all these conspiracies, and when I see another name and I look into it, I'm like, motherfucker, I've heard of this. Never heard of this before. What the fuck is going on? And then I look into it, and I'm like, oh, that's totally true. That's totally what the fuck happened. And I don't want to say that I have everybody has a gut feeling, right? Eddie, you have a gut feeling on things, right?
Of course.
Does your gut tell you that Martin Bormann died at the end of 1945?
No. Not at all.
Right? It's bullshit, man. Didn't happen. Didn't fucking happen. Goddamn James Bond got him out of there. And that's the thing that's amazing me too. I never knew about Operation James Bond. It's a fucking book that was sold in Europe, but yet it talks about taking out, and obviously they use pseudonyms or different names or whatever the fuck, but they fucking took this clown out of Berlin and they moved him somewhere else. Of course they did. Why wouldn't they? Why the fuck wouldn't they? It only makes sense. This is the money guy. Ah. Man, it's so fucking weird. But yeah, other than that, I want to thank you all again for watching. Eddie, thank him again for watching.
Well, thank you for watching one more time.
We love you guys. We really do. We appreciate you watching. I hope you have a great rest of the day. And take care.